everyone, my name is Jane and I'm a practicum student at Parallel Wellness.
You might be familiar with my name if you've read any of my blog posts, Learn with Jane, which I will also put.
It still feels a bit odd watching myself on camera when I'm normally watching others. There is so much content online. We are a growing generation of content creators. Regardless of our profession or interest, it seems like everyone is trying to be visible online. What was originally meant to be a social media platform for connection has now become a lucrative way to leverage your skills and transform your business. And I'd be lying if I said numbers don't matter. Because they do, but they should only matter in a business context. But the problem is, we often attach those numbers to our own self-worth and grind ourselves into dust, endlessly trying to produce content.
All in an effort to stand out. So I wonder, what would happen if mental health professionals became digital content creators in an effort to raise mental health awareness and increase psychoeducation? Would we be immune to the potentially devastating effects of trying to be visible online?
So that's how my practicum began with Parallel Wellness. I was fortunate to team up with this amazing counseling agency for my social justice practicum as part of my counseling studies at Adler University. We believed that we could offer regulated and reliable mental health information to a growing audience of content consumers. We figured if people are going to be online, why not offer them content that could help them? With a highly populated world of online content, how do we stand out and what makes us stand out? I interviewed my supervisors, Meredith McKenzie and Ashley Greensmith, to find out. I also wanted to know what this process of trying to stand out might have done to their own mental health.
Start with the first question, which was can you share a little bit about your counseling agency, Parallel Wellness, and what population you serve and how you got started?
So Parallel Wellness started as a private practice where I was the sole clinician. I think some of the inspiration for the way I wanted to run a private practice came from education at Adler University. That, in order for us to be able to have a healthy society, that we want to be able to create a community where people feel welcomed and that they belong and that they have a purpose, and to be also able to work with families. To be able to work with families across a lifespan as well, recognizing that at different points in someone's life they might be struggling with something, or that it might not be just an individual that's struggling, but the entire family might be a part of that system as well. We both have this passion for making sure that the general public has access to mental health information, because we think that just being informed is very empowering, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to pay for counseling sessions to become more informed. But at the same time, and I'm sure we'll talk about this in a bit, trying to combat a little bit what's out there in social media that is not necessarily coming from an educated place. So being able to maybe do it through blog articles or videos or social media, whatever the means might be that we can reach people.
And I still admire how you started from yourself and grew this whole agency, and now you're growing a social media presence. And then you mentioned that, because you said that a lot of the mental health content online doesn't come from a reliable, trusted place. So I've noticed you guys have a growing Instagram account. You post pretty consistently. You're posting well-researched, regulated content. Seems like a lot of work is put onto it. But can you just share what's that process been like?
I can say for myself, part of it is knowing that there's this information out there that might be from a research background or something that we talk about consistently in our therapy sessions that is something that could be useful for many people to access. So if you can make it into a really quick, digestible piece of information like an Instagram post, then why wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I find that the information that I share is really topical. I don't know if you've noticed this, Meredith, but there seems to be seasons or themes in private practice. And so I'll find that for a period of a month or for the past 2 weeks, I've been having different versions of the same conversation with all of my clients. And so when those kinds of things happen, then I realize this is something that is going to be relevant for probably a lot of people, because it's coming up in this random selection of 20 to 40 or 50, 60 something year olds that I work with. Mm-hmm. And so I try to put that kind of, those kinds of concepts into the posts that I make to share.
I'm hearing from Oprah, and I think this is quite true for me when I was doing this, is a lot of the quotes or the topics or the posts that you create they're touching yourself too, and they're hitting also your own needs or your own care, and it is building that connection between yourself and the clients you're serving. because I said I'm noticing more and more mental health related content on social media, what sets your content apart from others?
I think there's a lot of pop mental health.
Pop mental health?
Yeah, like pop. I'm gonna call it that. Pop mental health social content on social media. And what I mean when I say that I think there's a lot of kind of pop mental health images and things on social media is not necessarily branded content. It might be, you know, a quote from a movie or a message or a phrase that someone's trying to share that might be personally relevant to them and a small group of people, but is intended to be like this big inspirational piece.
Right.
There's like Quotable and all of these different kinds of websites that will take information from places that are not necessarily empirical sources or, you know, by any kind of research to say that this piece of advice that we're giving is good. Like buy that ticket, go on a plane, change your life. Nothing bad will happen. Like, have you thought about the consequences? Right? And there are a lot of these kinds of posts that are really like trying to inspire people and get them motivated, and that's great for the people that it works with, and it's also short-sighted sometimes. And I think one of the challenges with these kinds of posts and content that exist out there. And with that being said, there are tons of therapists, social workers, psychologists, a lot of people in mental health or mental health related fields that are sharing quality content. So it's nice that there's a balance. And I think that there might be, who knows, maybe some like generational differences between who is accessing what kind of media. I imagine a lot of therapists are looking at a lot of therapists, right?
And it's so important that you said that, like that, for example, even for myself, I didn't realize, you know, sometimes these big popular mental health accounts with many, many followers can just be pulling from just a random source, and it's not backed up by anything. It's just personally relevant to them, or it's be cliches, or it could just be just seemingly meaningful quotes. But then, you know, for somebody who is struggling and they're online, or they're just always scrolling through things, like how do they distinguish between something that could be actually helpful, that's backed up, versus something that is just flashy?
It's not easily distinguishable what is a credible source and what is not, if we're looking at followers, say, and using that as an idea or a marker for what is a credible source. There are plenty of accounts that have tens of thousands of followers, and they're just pulling content from other people's accounts. It could be memes, it could be, you know, these kind of flowery phrases or what have you. It's called self-care is for everyone, and it's not necessarily.
I'm sure there is an account called self-care is for everyone.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily. I bet you it's not run by a psychologist or a psychiatrist or a social worker or.
And just for the record, though, we're not talking about any particular accounts.
No,
just saying
any particular account. People might have, you know, they might feel personally compelled to share this kind of information, and it's coming from a good place.
Right.
And there might be a lot of overlap. There might be some content that they share that is vetted. There might be some that is some fluffy thing that they found that's a movie quote or what have you. Yeah. And so for people who don't know what is reliable content, it can be really misleading sometimes. Like I said, thinking about going back to the question I answered earlier, thinking about what are the consequences of following this advice. And that keeps, I believe that ought to keep the content creator or the curator personally accountable. Yeah, absolutely. Because what if somebody is in a really desperate place and they read a post that's really, you know, really nihilistic and says nothing really matters anyway, so just make your decision today. Right? Someone who's in a good place would be like, wow, I'm really kind of stuck between two things, but I'm going to go with my gut. Someone who's in a really bad place might say, wow, that really resonates. Nothing matters.
No, I love what you said, though, especially that part where it's like, if somebody's in a good place and they see a quote like that, yeah, you know, maybe it's freeing for them to be more spontaneous, and it's exactly what they need. And then somebody who may be in a darker place, that's the permission to end everything or something.
Yeah.
Something drastic. Absolutely. The key, I think, too, is that technology or finding things on social media is not therapy. It can just be something to help in that moment, but it shouldn't be the end all be all cure for you. Something that I guess especially recently struggled with is just, there's a lot of work that gets put into this. You know, you are putting in the research, you are making sure that this content is credible and helpful to people, and filtering out some of the fluffy or potentially negative content that's online with something that maybe is more reliable. But I find that it's a very competitive world and it's very easy to feel invisible in the online world. So I know you've been doing a lot of work with SEO too and trying to make yourself seen, but how has the process been for you in terms of like perhaps the fact that Instagram, Facebook, YouTube is an environment run by followers and subscribers and views? And what do you think about that? Does it lessen the impact of your work in any sort of way or discourage you from producing this content?
I think that's a good question. Like it's a lot of work, definitely. For me, it's definitely just a passion project at this point, and I'm only doing it because it's something I really like to do. And if I didn't like to do it, I don't know if it would even be necessary in terms of our business and see how, wanting to have followers and wanting to have like a thriving Instagram account like that can be exhausting because it's very incremental progress. And I think somebody asked me actually recently, like, so what is the point of it? Like, where's the monetization come in, or what, like, how do people make money off of it? And I'm like, well, I'm not really going to promote any products. Like, that's not the purpose of this Instagram account. So I guess it's really just for fun to have another way of like, at least to be a part of the conversation.
I agree with that. Yeah, I think my aim with anything that I share or put out there is just about, like you said, being a part of the conversation, having a voice, sharing what I think can be relevant to people, what I think can be helpful, because a lot of the stuff that I share about and post about and view and participate in myself is stuff that's been relevant to me and to my life, if not also to my clients or family or friends or people who have interacted with or been in contact with in the past.
I appreciate you saying that. I think what you're highlighting is just that the putting less weight on all of this and the fun in it and just the enjoyment and the therapeutic process for yourself of producing this content really for yourself and sharing it. And if it attracts attention, great. If it doesn't, then that's okay. It doesn't take away from who you are as an individual. And I think that's what I'm constantly reminding myself, especially as I'm entering this, because I did feel like it can just feel like a really toxic path that sucks you in. And you get so wrapped up in wanting to be seen and feeling not special and feeling like your content doesn't matter if it's not being seen. And like, what's the point of all of this work? But that it's what is your true intent of it? And that this is just a representation, that you're just conveying information. It's not who you are, and it doesn't matter really in the end.
I really appreciated talking to Meredith and Ashley about this, especially because we're all in it together. And it's refreshing to hear how grounded they're staying. But I'd wondered for myself, what has this process been like for me?
Well, first off, there has been a lot of learning, from recording to editing. Where's the record button? This is how new I am. And a lot of SEO training, all in an effort to get our hard work seen. It's been a discouraging, uncomfortable, draining, but fun process. Discouraging when you think your work isn't being seen. It was draining from the constant focus and work into creating. My mind was constantly on production mode. I felt uncomfortable from putting myself out there. I feel embarrassed and awkward to vlog. But it's also been fun.
Find yourself a practicum that lets you play video games for your practicum hours.
And has allowed me to explore my creativity.
Like Meredith said, people ask her sometimes, what's the point? And for myself, I constantly wonder, what's the point? Why am I doing all this? Why did I go down this road? Why do I want to be online and have a presence online? Am I just doing it to be popular, to be liked? Whenever I ask myself this, I try to remind myself of the root of why I started doing this. I mean, at the basis of it, it is to create reliable and well-researched, regulated information online, something that may be able to help someone. Even if my video or my blog post is just reaching one person, that's still a person that really matters to me. Because the thing is, when I was growing up, I turned to technology, video games, the internet all the time in an effort to feel more normal, to find somebody who could relate, to feel less alone. So if something that I produce online can do that for at least one other person, then I feel completely fulfilled. and that is more than enough for me. So if you've watched to the end, I truly appreciate it. If you've seen any of our other videos or blog posts, I really appreciate you taking the time to view our work. I hope that our blog posts and videos can provide you with some type of comfort or benefit. And I hope that this video can maybe just serve as a gentle reminder to stay grounded in a rapidly fast-paced online world and fast-paced world in general. And just keep checking in about your mental health, because I found making this video to just be helpful for somebody who analyzes, questions the process a lot, just to continually ask myself, why am I doing something? What's my true intent? And what is it for? And how is it helping me? Thanks for watching.
Thank you to Meredith McKenzie and Ashley Greensmith for their collaboration and patience. As usual, please like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss another video from Parallel Wellness.